One of the reasons that many of us get involved in filmmaking and photography is because of passion. It's that kind of essential passion that drives us to want to create and to share with people. The thing that can happen often is we start to lose passion because if you are in the fortunate position where you end up like me, making a living from that passion of constantly creating video and photography, when you do anything as a routine, it can become boring and you essentially can start to lose that passion, and that can be a really scary place to be. Often it's because you're shooting for clients, and that, in a way, that is the dream, 100%. You want to be in a position where you end up creating for people who love what you do and who enjoy what it is that you're creating. But if you get into too much of a routine, that passion just starts to totally disappear or get zapped. Another way sometimes that passion can be lost is because you end up having a formulaic approach to the videos that you're creating. So perhaps you shoot the same thing over and over and over again. I know for me, before shooting commercial videos that we now shoot with Vivida, we were shooting wedding content. We were shooting stories for consumers. The nature of shooting weddings can be that you end up shooting the same thing over and over and over again. And as a result of that formulaic approach, you can start to lose the passion. So you want to end up being in a situation where you are constantly feeling driven, you're feeling inspired by what it is that you're creating. One way of doing that is shooting purely for that reason of passion. So if you shoot something that's formulaic over and over again, is there a way that you can break out of that cycle and create something that is totally for you? Maybe it's something that you've had in your mind. Another thing can be if you work as a commercial photographer or filmmaker, like we do at Vivida, at times you may have your hands tied in that you may have a very tight creative brief and you may have little control or flexibility. But there's this part of you that just wants to create something that's different. Maybe you want to create something that's in line with your personality, but the scope of the projects that you're currently working on, it doesn't fit. So another scenario where I 100% recommend you think about creating a passion project. Now, when we talk about a passion project, what is it I'm talking about? It's shooting something purely for you to feed the soul. Or perhaps if you work as a team like we do at Vivida, you're behind the camera, Jamie over there, you want to shoot something so that your entire team gets to work together to really just enjoy the process. It's also an opportunity to experiment. People only buy what they see. So if you're doing the same type of work over and over again, but you've got this maybe other really cool creative idea, maybe on a different way of lighting, perhaps you've got an edit, a style that you want to explore, but you haven't had the opportunity to do it yet. And no client's going to come to you and order something that they haven't seen and they don't necessarily have that trust. So what do? You shoot for yourself with the aim of them being able to share it with people so that they can get an idea of what it is that you want to create. We've done this, myself and Jordan behind the camera. Wave, Jordan. Hand in front of the camera so they can see that you're actually really there. Jordan, come in front of the camera. So myself and Jordan, we went to Ghana, okay? And this was a mixture, Jordan, of, it was a client, but it was also in a way a passion project. And I say it was a passion project even though it was for a client because we were in control of the creative brief. It was really up to us what it was that we shooted. Shooted, is that even a word? What it is that we shot and how we shot. We came up with a really cool kind of creative brief and a creative style, and we went out there and we fed our soul, right? We were shooting a subject that really resonated with us in a way that we creatively wanted to do it. Another great example that the team were involved in, we've recently done a project for Soapco that we cannot wait to share with you, which is a story that's really based on those who are blind and who have no eyesight. And we wanted to tell a meaningful story that would really help you look at blind people differently. Often when we look at blind people, we look at what it is that they cannot do. but we wanted to really accentuate and show off what it is that they are able to achieve. These individuals were essentially able to get to work. I remember, Emily, you were really buzzing by the pre-interviews that we did, Emily, when we understood that they were able to get on the train, and they were on the train and on public transport taking an hour and a half to get to work. We wanted to bring that story to life. And as a charitable organisation, they were not in a position to afford the type of project that we would want to shoot for them. So we did it as a passion project. It fed the soul, got us creatively buzzing, and now we can get back to work on all of our normal day-to-day activities, but having benefited from still being passionate about what we do. So I would recommend, as you go through your everyday life and you take inspiration from life itself, whether it be music, whether it be things you see, whether it be a film or a movie that you see, you Auden, stop playing behind the camera, you're distracting me. He's always fiddling with things. Whatever it is you see, you feed that kind of, that inspiration feeds you, maybe make a note of it. I used to carry around a sketchbook, which is probably in the drawer beside me, and that sketchbook I would maybe sketch ideas, or I'd write down a note of an idea or a concept that I like. Now it's been replaced by my trusty iPad, where I'm saving links to, I think, oh, you know something, I would love to shoot something like that. Or maybe I see a billboard and I think, you know something, I would love to work on a campaign like that. I would take an image, and then I would make sure that we produce a project that is almost for that imaginary client. Does that make sense? So also do that. If you are a creative who wants to shoot, let's say you really want to shoot a Nike campaign, do a project that would almost be for Nike, if that makes sense. But this is going to be a passion project, so that then you can shoot it and then you can show people what it is you've done, and that work that you've created comes from within. Get out there, have some fun, and shoot for your passion.